Howdy folks, gonna look at some of the guns that came into my possession since my last video. These are a few of the handguns I've acquired. I'll do a video with some of the rifles hopefully in a bit. The first is a gun that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Well, it looks like a 1911, but it is actually the Browning High Power. It is a fantastic looking gun. This shoots 9mm as opposed to a typical 1911 which would shoot 45 ACP. I believe they also make some Brownings in 40 Smith & Wesson, but the most common configuration you'll find will be that 9mm. This one has that rose grips added on. It's a great looking gun. It's got really deep blue in. The grips look fantastic, and it's really comfortable in your hands. I don't have really big hands, but this thing feels great in them. First of all, let's make sure it's safe. Alright, no bullets internally. Drop the magazine. You'll notice, as opposed to the 1911, this is a double stack mag. I know they make double stack 1911s now, but this one should hold, it says 13 rounds, 9mm. One of the differences you'll see also, this has a great takedown system compared to the 1911. 1911, you have to undo that first front nut, or whatever you want to call that, the lock-in tightener. And then the springs fly everywhere, and then you can slide everything apart, and you take out the take-it-down pin. This one, you just pull the slide back, and the normal slide lock position, well, you move the safety into that, and that's the position where you can pop out the slide lock pin that holds everything together, and then you can do the full disassembly of the gun. We might do that a little bit later. One of the things I noticed with this gun, you can't release the hammer without the magazine internally inserted. Also, you'll notice there's a lot of trigger pull. Well, you'll see that. And here goes the mag. Alright, trigger pull, there's just a lot of trigger pull, and then the hammer releases. I'll be honest, I like my Glock a lot better. I got a Glock 19, it's my first gun, it's the most comfortable gun, it's the one I learned with, it's the one I carry the most often. This is a pretty gun, and it's a fun gun. But I think I might worry too much about mucking it up. With the Glock, you can drop that in the mud, you can drag it behind you, and you just have to hose it off, oil it down, and it's good to go. This one, this is a gun you have to, I don't know, I feel like I'd have to treat it too nicely to carry it around too much. Well, we got some revolvers here. The first one I got actually when it first came out. This is a Rhino by Chiappa Firearms. It's a great looking gun. Look how tough that thing looks. Everybody's comment when they see this thing is like, wow, that thing is massive. Well, it shoots .357 Magnum or .38 Special. Since it is a revolver, you can use either load. It's made by the same guy that did this one. You've seen this already. It's actually in pieces because I'm working on the grips. This is my Chiappa Unica, or one of them. And the guy did the same thing in both guns. Milo Gazzoni put the firing barrel, or the barrel, out of which the bolt comes, at the 6 o'clock position. He didn't put it at the top of the revolver, he put it at the bottom. And his idea was that when you held this gun and fired it, the force, the blowback force, would be more centered down your arm, and you'd be able to absorb that better, so you'd stay on target, and you'd have less muzzle flip. In practice, I don't know, maybe. The guns are pretty heavy, so when I shoot .38 Specials, I don't get too much muzzle flip anyway. Alright, let's make sure this is safe. The cylinder release is right here. Pop that open. Looks good. Now, I think this gun is actually supposed to be fired in double action, not single action. I know there looks to be a hammer up here, but since all the firing takes place down here, because this is where the barrel is, this is actually, it transfers the energy down here, and I believe they actually refer to this as a decocker. You can actually pull it, but it's really heavy for cocking that hammer, the internal hammer. But the double action on this thing is really smooth. It feels like butter. I like that. One of the things they say, you gotta be careful when you're firing. I've noticed this with some friends already. My righties, I'll do it with the right hand. If their fingers sticking out here, it's not gonna let that barrel turn like it ought to. It could. You get some barrels, the barrel could stick, it'll do different things. It doesn't fully rotate, and they keep firing on the same empty shell. So that's why I guess now when you buy this gun or you go online, always make sure that you use these little finger grooves to remember to keep your fingers pointed down a bit. I'm not sure if I'm crazy about that. Something they ought to fix in future models. One of the weird things is, I'm gonna cock the hammer so you can see this, but it's not comfy. They got a cocked hammer indicator here. See a little red dot? You pull that, it's gonna disappear. Boom, down. And each time you pull the trigger, pops up, down. Gimmicky. Not crazy about it. Don't think it's necessary. I think it's gonna break eventually. But, oh well, it's kind of neat, a little futuristic. I mean, this gun does look like it came out of Blade Runner. It's just a great looking gun. Not too accurate with it, to be honest. Maybe I just need to get comfortable with it. I mean, it's really perfectly weighted. Maybe I don't like the grips too, not the grips, the sights too much, but, I don't know. 38 Special is getting a little bit too expensive to get comfortable with. And that's one of the reasons I picked up these last two guns. These ones are not in production anymore. However, when I saw them, I immediately knew I wanted them. And I missed out on a gunbroker auction because I thought they were overvalued. I was talking to someone about that, and they said, you know what, you need to end up buying one of these things. This is a blue book of gun values. And this is a smart idea to have. If you're going to start collecting guns, especially ones out of production, have this with you. I take it to the gun shows now, and all it does is it gives you an idea of what you should be looking at in terms of price. It's divided up by manufacturer, and then from manufacturer you go to model. From model you go to condition, 100% down to 60% condition, and they'll tell you what you might expect to pay. Well, I paid about about a little bit more than what 100% ought to go for, but I really wanted these. If you, oh, first of all, what are they? They're Harrington and Richardson 999s, H&R 999s. You might see H&R still. They make long guns. They're not too expensive in terms of long guns. They got out of the whole handgun business, I think, about 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Actually, the company, I believe, started in the late 1800s. And ran all the way up to like the 1970s, at which point it closed, and then recreated itself, I think, in the 1990s, making the long guns. So not necessarily the same company making the long guns that made these handguns. Why do I like the 999? Well, you don't see a cylinder release, and that's because these are break action revolvers, and they're 22s, and they're 9 shots each. I mean, that's enough for a whole day of fun flinking at the range. Let me show you how this whole action works. This is really neat. First of all, they can be done single or double action. This is the one I just picked up last night. So I guess we better be safe. We better check, make sure they're unloaded. How do you do that with one of these these handguns? Well, when I got this at the gun shop, the guy, my FFL dealer, looked at us like, here you go. He didn't know how to open it. And so I was fiddling with it, and I saw this little lever here, and I said, oh my gosh, you just pull that up, and that's how you check it. Now, what you might not have seen when I just did that, let me zoom in here, is that also ejects your spent rounds. Alright. So, we're going to pull the release here, and watch this cylinder. You see that? The ejector actually works by the movement of the barrel around this pivot point. Let's do that again. That's just neat. I mean, you're shooting at the range, and you're done. You pop out all your bolts, load some more in, and you're ready to go. It's a neat little feature, and I thought that was worth its weight in gold. And one of the neat things, I'm guessing these are going to go up in price. If you go online and you look around, you'll see people in 2003, they're paying half of what these are going for right now. So in a matter of, 8 years, these things have doubled in value. And since they're not in production, hopefully they'd go up a little bit more. Now I notice these are two different models. I'm not just talking about the length. Obviously 4 inches versus 6 inches. This is obviously a newer model, and this is an older. Why do I say that? Well, when I cock this one back, we have the pinless hammer, which is what you see in most guns, where they transfer energy to the internal pin, and there's a firing block to protect against the accidental discharge. This one, wow, it still has a striker built into it. A little different. This one looks fantastic. It's great. This one feels fantastic. I've taken this to the range already. Pretty accurate, fun right out of the bag, and I'll tell you what, you can you're shooting those 22 long rifles all day long. It's not hurting your wallet at all. I think I grabbed one of those boxes of 550 rounds for 10 to 15 bucks, and I only put about a dent of 1/3 of the way into that thing so far, and I've had it for a couple months now. One of the neat things also about these things is barrel cleaning is really easy. Here, we're going to pop this open. There's another little button here. You just depress that. So we can get a little closer. There's a little notch right here, a little notch button. Depress that, and the cylinder comes right out. You clean the barrel, clean the cylinder, and then reassembly obviously is just the reverse of that. And you're good to go. So I don't know about 22s as a self-defense round, but boy, as a plinking round, that is a fun thing. So I'm pretty happy with these. We've got the two H&R Harrington and Richardson 999s. I like the look of this. I'm not crazy about it as a firing gun, and what's even worse, as a left-handed person, I can't get a holster to save my life. I was over at Green Top, and we spent a good half hour breaking open cases and trying out different holsters. Well, nothing would fit. The only holster that supposedly you can get right now at this time is sold by Chiappa Firearms themselves, and I think they want some ridiculous $150 for it. And I'm not about to do that yet on a holster, especially when it's just a belt holster. I might spend $150 on a jackass rig for the my shoulders, but that's about it. And this is a beautiful gun. I like this. I got this actually because my sister said she likes shooting Brownings. Didn't know what she was what model or anything like that. She said she was good with a Browning and is 9mm, and I said, well, there's only one Browning 9mm that everyone has, and you've probably tried the high power. So these ones, good lookers. These ones, good plinkers. And I'll see what we can do about getting some of those rifles online. Cool. Ciao.